Hello everybody, welcome to the channel and thank you so much for being here today. I have had a few new subscribers recently, so I just wanted to welcome you all to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us, and I really hope you enjoy the channel and the videos and get involved with the challenges that are running as well. Now, I am doing something this year for the first time. I've not done a Christmas in July series on the channel before, but I thought I'd give it a go this year. Today I'm going to be making a Christmas card, and it is my floating display card that I showed recently on a Project Share Sunday, and everyone really enjoyed it and really liked it. So I thought I would do a tutorial on how to do it. I have changed it slightly since the one I showed on Project Share Sunday. This is like take 2 of the card, but I'm a lot happier with it. So let's just jump into the video and I'll show you how to make the floating display card. I am going to put all the measurements for this card on a blog post, and I will link that in the description box of this video so it's nice and simple for you to find. The first thing I'm using is some Lidl cardstock. Now this is, I think, 270 GSM, but I'm going to be adding mats and layers to it, which is going to strengthen it as well. And this piece measures 12 inches by 9 inches. And we're going to be doing some scoring on this first of all. So on the long side, on the 12-inch side, we are going to want to score at 2 inches, 4 inches, 8 inches and 10 inches. Now we are going to rotate this onto the short side, so the 9-inch side, and we are going to score at 1.5 and 7.5. Okay, that's all the scoring you need to do. So we can get rid of our scoreboard. For the next step, you're either going to need a trimmer or a cutting mat and a knife. So I'm just going to bring in my tonic trimmer, because we're going to cut the floating bit next. So if you put it in to your trimmer on the 9-inch side, and we are going to cut from the 2-inch line all the way down to the 10-inch line on that score line that was at 7.5. Take it up to 2. So all the way down to 10 and 2, and then you want to do exactly the same on the score line that was at 1.5, and cut from 2 down to 10. And that's all the cutting you'll need to do. Now we're going to fold our score lines. We're going to treat these as different sections. If you take the card up and look at this center section here, ignore this first score line here and just go to the second one in. This one wants to go to a valley. So, which means the one at the bottom becomes a mountain and the one at the top becomes a mountain. The same on the next score line down. we're going to make a valley and a mountain and a mountain. Then this first score line here is going to go to a mountain, as is the bottom one and the top one, and the same on this one here. This is going to be a mountain, the bottom one will be a mountain, and the top one will be a mountain. And that's how you get your shape for the floating display card. And then when it folds flat, these bits will fold in like so. So it folds nice and flat. Now, because of the size of this, because this is 9 inches by 12, you are going to have to make an envelope for this separately. It doesn't fit in any of the envelopes I have that are pre-bought, even some of the bigger ones, but that's not too hard to do. So let me know if you want a separate video on how I do that, but it's quite easy. Okay, so that is the shape of our card. Now we are going to add our mats and layers. I've literally only burnished these with my fingers. I haven't burnished them with the score tool, and I don't really think you need to, because you're going to be adding mats and layers, and these are quite nice crisp folds. But by all means, if you wanted to take a bone folder to it, you can do. So onto the mats and layers. Again, all of these measurements will be in the blog, which will be in the description box of this video, but I'll tell you really quickly. For the mirror card, you're going to need one piece that is 3 7/8 by 5 7/8. You're going to need 2 pieces that are 1 7/8 by 8 7/8. You are going to need 2 pieces that are 3 7/8 by 1 7/8. You are going to need 2 that are 5 7/8 by 1 7/8. And you are going to need 4 pieces that are 1 7/8 by 1 3/8. So if I bring the card in, it should be a fairly self-explanatory where these go. So this one is the 3 7/8 by 1 3/8. Literally, it goes in the middle of the card, top and bottom. The 4 pieces, which were 1 7/8 by 1 3/8, they go on the 4 smaller fold lines. The one large piece, which was 3 7/8 by 5 7/8, goes in the middle. The 2 that were 5 7/8 by 1 7/8 go on the inside pillars, which just leaves these 2 long ones for the edge there. So I'm going to get those stuck down, and then I will be right back to you. That's on my mirror board now stuck down. Now, a couple of things I will say about the mirror board that I've used. This is from B&M, and I've always been really happy with it, but recently I've noticed that once you cut it, it starts to lift in the corners, which isn't so good. So I don't know whether they've changed it somehow, but it's, once you've cut into it, it seems to become weaker and it lifts and tears, so I'm not so happy about that. Also, a little trick I have discovered, if when you're sticking your mirror board down you go over it with a cloth. It helps if you're using glue to obviously spread the glue and get a good coverage, but it also means you don't get fingerprints on your mirror board. Now, I am putting mats and layers over the top of mine, but it just helps keep the edges nice. Plus, if there is any glue seeping out, you'll be able to catch it on your cloth so it doesn't dry. Just be aware of any smears you might need to re-go over. Okay, it's time to put our patterned paper on now. Now, the patterned paper I'm using for this card is Nativity by Craft Consortium and House Couplestitch. This was out last Christmas and I absolutely love this collection. If you have been with me for a while, you will know that I love Craft Consortium and I also love House Couplestitch. So their papers do tend to feature a lot in my videos. So the first piece of DSP measures 3 3/4 by 5 3/4, and it's this gorgeous blue background piece with the animals on. The next piece you're going to need 2 of these, and they will be 1 1/4 by 8 1/4. I'm using the strips that say Noel. Just if you're using directional paper, just be aware of how you're cutting it, because otherwise your pattern's going to go a tad wrong. Next up is 2 pieces that again measure 3 3/4 by 1 1/4. This is going to go top and bottom of your central piece. Next up, you're going to need 2 pieces that measure 1 3/4 by 5 3/4. They're going to go on the inside panels here. And then your 4 pieces for those 4 corners measure 1 3/4 by 1 1/4. They're going to go on here like so. So you can see each piece that we have layered has left a nice little border of either green or gold, and then we have our really pretty DSP. So I'm going to get those stuck down and then I'll be straight back to you. That's all my DSP now stuck down. I think it looks really, really pretty and really, really effective. I especially like the look I've got through the middle here. It looks kind of triptych, which I've done a video on before, but because I managed to line the cows up, I just think it looks a little bit triptych. So that's how we're looking right now. So now we've just got to decorate the card up. Now I have attacked the front cover and the back cover of my paper pad, and I've got all these bits here cut out ready, but I've also got my Christmas in July pieces that I was sent, so I am wondering whether to mix and match. I will see. I am literally surrounded by Christmas bits. This is one of the cut parts from the pad, which I kind of like fit in there, and I had thought about putting the trees down here because it all feeds into the nativity. I was going to use this, but I think it's got a bit big. Let's have a look. We've got the gold, frankincense and myrrh, which nicely fit on the 4 sections there, and I had cut these little dudes out. I actually kind of like that. Maybe I won't use my Christmas in July stuff. Maybe I'll just stick to this. Then I just need a sentiment top and bottom. Now I do have the stamps for this collection, but I was digging through my stash and I've actually found some things I think will work really well. So the first thing I found were the Frozen Wishes wooden toppers, and they're stars. And obviously you associate a bright shining star with the nativity. So because these are blue, I thought they would tie in nicely with the papers I've used. So I kind of thought I'd just keep it simple and put a star up there. And then from Time to Sparkle, I have these really nice sentiment banners. So I was kind of thinking of using the Merry Christmas one on the bottom, because although it's raised, it's not too raised. I don't want anything too bulky, and I think that will look really, really nice. So what I'm going to do really quickly is just stick these bits down and then I'll show you the finished card. Okay, so that is all finished. So let's just show you the finished card. When you give this to somebody, especially if they're not a crafter, you might want to put some instructions in to explain that you pull the front pieces out and push the back bit, backwards, because, some people might not realise that that's what they're supposed to do because of how it comes out the envelope. But I am really happy with that. I think it's really, really cute. I think it shows off the papers really nicely. The only thing I might do once this is all dried is just ground these characters off a bit, because at the moment they're just floating. So I might look to see if I can ground them off somehow. But I'm really happy with it, and it holds up really nicely. If you remember the first one I did, it wouldn't hold in position like this for me to show you. It kept collapsing. But as I said, I have changed it. I've taken out some score lines. I've changed things up a bit. I've actually taken some pieces off. But I'm really, really happy with that. So I hope you like the card. I hope you'll give it a go. If you do like these Craft Consortium papers, I'm pretty sure they're still available to order from Craft Consortium themselves. They also have a Facebook group called Craft Consortium Network, where you can share all your makes with their products, as does House Coupleditch. She has an illustration group where you can share your makes with her pieces. And yeah, I'm really, really happy with that. So if you do make this card, please feel free to tag me on social media so that I can see what you've been making. Thank you so much for watching today. I do have some more Christmas in July videos coming. They're not all cards, there are some different projects, so definitely keep an eye on the channel to see what I've got coming up. I will be back soon with more videos, but until then, thank you so much for watching. Take care and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.